And predictions are open. For the next couple of minutes, if you're in the chat, you can place your bets on who you think is going to be this week's finalist to go up against Dark in the grand finals of the KungFu Cup. We do kind of both peg MaxPax as the favorites, but, you know, there's always a chance here. His opponent isn't out of this at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very strong Zerg opponent that MaxPax is facing, and it is a red Zerg player representing Korea. And what team is he on right now? What is it?
Mystery Gaming.
Oh, Mystery. Yeah, Mystery Gaming. It is RagnaroK.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have as opponent, we have the Danish Protoss player representing Storm Gaming. It is MaxPax.
RagnaroK changing teams fairly recently, so you haven't gotten used to it.
Exactly. We do have shout out to Mystery Gaming. They've been supporting a lot of players recently. Despite the fact that Mystery Gaming are not in World Team League, they're still willing to invest into StarCraft and into the scene. So much love to Mystery Gaming.
Yeah, definitely. It's always great to see these teams supporting the players. Like even if they're not in the main team league, like it's still worth supporting all of these great competitors.
Yeah, definitely. Also, constant A mover in the chat is like A move into lurker. Well, I mean, you'd think that you would like that though because of your name. Like it's very fitting. Like it's on brand.
Yeah, I was gonna say, checks out.
It does check out. And it was just a funny comment.
Maybe the web was like, you know, from experience. Like yeah,
true.
Yeah, I've been there.
Aye. But yeah, we are getting into this. I don't know if you noticed, but this was a 15-15 opener from RagnaroK, so he was able to get his actual natural location as well. So with this setup, RagnaroK is going to be dissuading Glaive Adept builds and Glaive Adept's kind of follow-ups as well, just because he has a bit of a better setup from here.
Yeah, very, very nicely done by RagnaroK. Once again, I do find it interesting that 15 hatch meta has been spreading among the hive of the Zerg, among the Overmind network, and we see more and more players using it.
Yeah, it's really cool to see. It is a build that obviously has its strengths, and is has so many uses as well in so many different matchups, so it's great to see it come into form here against Protoss. Meanwhile, MaxPax is going to be going for a standard Stargate opener. Unlike Showtime, I do expect MaxPax to go into Blink and +1 from here.
Yeah, I mean, MaxPax definitely is more of an aggressive player than Showtime is. Also, we have an explanation in the chat.
So there's an asterisk next to the name. It's a move into everything except the Lunkers, or Lurkerito. Okay.
Yeah, Lurkerito.
Fair enough, Matty, fair enough.
I feel like there are a few other units you wouldn't want to aim into.
The siege units. Lurkers, tanks, Widowmines. Maybe Widowmines.
Oh, Widowmines. I mean, depends with army. With what army.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like if you aim with like charge lots, then like, I mean, I've seen the chat.
For sure. Regardless, we're kind of getting into this PvZ. We did see a tumor getting taken out here or there, but for the most part, RagnaroK should be getting ready for this. The queens, he has 2 queens here at the natural. We have only 1. Okay, we're going to have 2 in the main base as well, so we have stood up our army. We are in position to deal with the initial Oracle.
Yeah, these 2 adepts will be trying to get some damage as well, but only shading in to get some information. Meanwhile, the Oracle is now in the main base, but there are 2 queens there, so it looks like RagnaroK is safe.
Yeah, I really did appreciate how he used his energy though, because MaxPax actually went for a revelation on the initial creep tumor here just to keep that creep at bay. I really appreciate it because it does show that he recognized that RagnaroK would probably have queens in position and he wouldn't be able to get too much drone kills, so use his energy in a bit of a different way.
Sure, why not? It's always I mean, it's always something like to at least stop that creep wave from the Zerg, and if you know that you're not gonna get anything else, then I mean, may as well use that energy somewhere else.
definitely, as we do have the Overlord across the map being cleaned up. We have the Queens, again, keeping up with the rotations of the Oracles as MaxPax struggles to deal damage. And MaxPax is working on his third, not just his third, but also on Forge and Twilight Council. Again, we are back to meta PvZ. Everything is suddenly making so much more sense.
Yeah, we are back to people actually getting their tech early on in the game.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Again, shout out to Showtime for how he does play out in such a unique way. But before that happens, of course, RagnaroK is going for a safety roach one as well here at 5 minutes, just to make sure he has access to roaches for the initial push. MaxPax is just going to be as annoying as possible and as active as he can with all these oracles.
Yeah. Although RagnaroK does have the queens, so he shouldn't be suffering any damage from the oracles, and the two of them are dancing with the drones, and he actually had to evacuate his natural base for a moment, but there shouldn't be too many of them dying. Oh, the oracle!
Yeah, the oracle does get trapped. It was baited in, and even though we got 3 drones, which was nice, 3 drones is not worth 1 oracle, so a better trade for RagnaroK. MaxPax just slipping up a little bit there.
Yeah, that was unfortunate there for MaxPax. I think maybe he thought that it's farther down in the dead space, but it was just a bit too close to the edge, and it was taken down by the queens. And now RagnaroK decides to go for a bit of an offensive, but he actually decides against it.
Yeah, he's making a lot of lings. RagnaroK has a lot of lings on the way, and this is designed, I imagine, to cancel the 4th base, maybe even catch this army. Blink isn't done, bear that in mind, so these things can do a lot of damage. The oracles can support, though, with their pulsar beams.
Yeah, and there are both oracles here, there are a lot of stalkers, and they also stand in a pretty good position, so the lings of RagnaroK are not able to get any damage done. So I guess for now he's back to taking up, he's getting his upgrades, he's getting a Baneling Nest, and just gonna come back with a better army.
I do worry a lot for RagnaroK because his economy is straight up worse than MaxPax because of this. Like, he invested so heavily into these lings, they have to do damage. Lings are coming in on the right hand side, but the cannon is done, the lings do nothing. Meanwhile, at the 3rd base, we're gonna find a little bit more success, but no, the army does rotate over in time, and all these lings, they could have been drones. As a result, we have an equal economy, whereas RagnaroK maybe could have had an 80 worker count economy by now.
Yeah, RagnaroK is trying to get into the natural base, but there are shield batteries, there are stalkers, even the oracle comes back to defense, so he's getting absolutely nothing out of these lings.
Yeah, and now MaxPax can focus on his main push. The lings are needed back at home, but we've already lost so many lings by trying to harass. Roaches are on the way, station traps are being set up. The lings are actually looking to catch some reinforcements.
Yeah, I thought that he's gonna surround, but I guess he does not want to be caught into the stasis, but he is going down.
Oh, a massive stage trap does connect with the lings of RagnaroK. He's still able to go for the surround anyway, and he's going to be able to force back the army of MaxPax, but we still have oracles to support, and MaxPax is not being slowed down.
Yeah, and MaxPax is also careful about this stasis. He does not let the lings alone, and he will be finishing them off after the timer runs out.
Yeah, exactly. We do have a decent amount of those things going to be shaved off. RagnaroK going to try and go for a Baneling run by instead. It could potentially do a lot of damage, but can he hold on the front line?
I think he might have spoiled it a little bit, because he did morph one of the Banelings right in front of MaxPax, so MaxPax is aware of the Banelings being up somewhere.
Yeah, but we have Zealots to defend, which don't do quite well against these Banelings. They're going to be able to ignore them, waddle on in, but we do have a reaction at MaxPax. He does end up saving his workers.
Yeah, and 3 of the probes still fall down, which is something, but not for that many Banelings. So one of the Banelings is trying, but there is a cannon here.
There is a cannon. The Baneling will go down. Meanwhile, RagnaroK trying to focus on his main assault. He's, again, spent a lot of resources on Ling Bane counterattacks, and they just haven't really paid off for him. They haven't gotten him too much return. We do have another Baneling run by, though, going towards the 4th base of MaxPax.
Yeah, there is a cannon there, but it won't be able to kill all of the Banelings, but this Warping just takes care of it.
Exactly. The Banelings, they detonate on the wall, and immediately we do rebuild that as well. At the same time, RagnaroK is actually going to be able to deny this 5th base of MaxPax, but the same can be said for the 5th of RagnaroK.
Yeah, and the Stalkers are still sieging that position, that base of RagnaroK. They have not moved here for quite a while now, and there are only more stasis being added, and another portion of the roaches gets in.
Yeah, at the same time that Zealot run by did get a kill, not a cancel on the 5th base of RagnaroK. The Zealots are going to be cleaned up though. At the same time, Prism tried to slip into the main base, but RagnaroK was able to keep up with that as well. But these Blink Stalkers, they've still been gaining a lot of ground.
No, MaxPax actually wasn't paying attention to these Stalkers. A few of them did fall down to the Banelings, but once again, that's not the ideal trait to run your Banelings into the Stalkers. And I mean, a lot of them are damaged, but they're still here.
They are, as RagnaroK is going for another Baneling run by. All it takes is one good connection, but the Stalkers are back at home to defend. We blink, we body block as well. The Banelings will not get into the mineral line.
Yeah, RagnaroK actually is starting to chase that army away, but there's still so many Stalkers, and with proper blink micro, they will be able to deal with a lot of these roaches.
Yeah, the Lings, they come in from behind, and these +2 Lings are going to be able to clean up so many of these Stalkers. Finally, a fight is going his way. At the same time, Baneling counterattack does finally detonate as well, and MaxPax loses a mineral line.
Yeah, I guess RagnaroK distracted MaxPax enough with this offense, and he finally was able to roll his Banelings into one of the bases, but is that enough?
We'll see if it is going to be enough, as it looks like the Stalker army is going to be able to force RagnaroK back once again. The Zealot counterattack, again, just forcing RagnaroK to turn back around, go back home, and figure out his bases, as he's still only on 4 hatcheries. He needs a 5th because MaxPax is ahead.
Yeah, and MaxPax is just expanding forward. He's not stopping this, and he won't be stopping the aggression either, as his Stalkers are still shacking around, still trying to find some damage. The Warprince is still there, but it maybe gets sniped.
Yeah, Prism's going to get sniped. We do get cancelled on the 6th base of MaxPax, but again, MaxPax, he's up in bases, up in economy. It doesn't really matter too much, but it looks like the Roach Ravager is going to be able to isolate this Nexus. It could go down at the same time. Baneling counterattack does get into another mineral line.
Yeah, MaxPax actually starting to sleep about a bit on the defense, and more probes are falling down. We have 28 in total, which is a really big number.
Yeah, exactly. A Zealot run by is going to be meeting a wall of Queens. The Queens are able to transfuse and, for the most part, keep themselves alive. Oh boy, and finally, all this aggression from RagnaroK has paid off. Finally, he is in a leading and a commanding position, but his Hive is late. This is a delayed Hive. It looks like it did slip RagnaroK's mind. Without Hive, he can't get into 3-3 or Adrenal Glands. That's a pretty big oversight.
Yeah, and he has to fight on 2 fronts as well. He was able to clean up the army on the east, but it looks like the army on the west is still being a bit of trouble for him, and the Banelings will distract it for the time being.
Yeah, a lot of Banelings are going to be going down, but they're rolling towards that 3rd base mineral line. We do see MaxPax does spot it ahead of time. He's going to be able to react and clean this up. Meanwhile, looks like RagnaroK wants to try to transition into Hydras, into eventually Lurkers. But again, all these transitions from MaxPax, they are heavily delayed, and they're going to take a long time to really kick in.
Yeah, and the Stalkers are still around. They are still looking for more damage, and if RagnaroK does not have enough units at any point, this may turn really fast.
Yeah, exactly. As the Hive is about to finish up, RagnaroK, he's sending a Link counterattack on the left-hand side. The Roaches here are trading as best they can, but looks like they are going to be forcing MaxPax back once again.
Yeah, the Roaches are keeping MaxPax at bay, so that's nice for RagnaroK, but again, like he can only keep them away for so long. I mean, he's getting damage with the Zerglings, but at the same time, the Oracle finds a completely uncovered base.
Yeah, no Spore, no Queens. The mineral line is going to be going down, and these are drones that RagnaroK cannot replace. All it took was one Oracle, and suddenly RagnaroK is in a horrible position.
Yeah, that was really painful to lose all of these drones. Like, there was no Queens, no Spores. Actually, where are the Queens? How many Queens do we have? There's one.
Yeah, the Queens, it looks like they've been dying to the Zealot run-bys over and over again. They haven't been replaced. They haven't been rebuilt. With that, there's very limited creep, or there's no creep threat at all. There are 0 active creep drummers on the map. And MaxPax, he is slowly overwhelming. Like, his worker count is still struggling, and he's going to be losing a couple more across the map.
Yeah, the MaxPax has been focusing much less on the defense, but I mean, he is doing damage to RagnaroK, and without the Queens, like, all of these run-bys are that much more powerful.
Yeah, exactly. As the drone counts are evening up, we do have MaxPax abusing the low ground here, taking advantage of it, taking down even more workers, forcing a response from RagnaroK. RagnaroK has a Ling, Roach, Hydra army. No Banelings, and against Archons, this is not going to be ideal.
Yeah, it will not, and Archons will deal with the Zerglings. The Stalkers are there to deal with the rest of it, and we have an Observer that is about to be sniped, so that's nice, but yeah, even with the Stasis, like... Look, RagnaroK is doing a lot of damage to MaxPax, but I just don't know how long RagnaroK can do this.
Well, he's trying to survive long enough to make lurkers. We have lurker range on the way. He's already got the lurker den. No lurkers have hit the field yet. When they do, like, everything will change. Like, RagnaroK will be able to hold on. If it's only if he can survive that long and actually get there.
Yeah, I mean, we will have revelations, but I don't think we have anything that can actually deal with the lurkers, because this is a ground army, and this ground army is actually getting overpowered.
Yeah, but here we go. We have the Archons coming in from behind. They're trying to get on top of the Hydras, but no, the Biles do zone away the army, and RagnaroK is going to be able to break into that third base.
Yeah, another run by was there for killing more probes once again, and even with this split army, RagnaroK is actually able to hold MaxPax off.
Yeah, exactly. We can see RagnaroK has just been trading a little bit more efficiently. That center base is finally really kicking in, and we see RagnaroK is close to maxing out.
Yeah, and what does MaxPax say? He has the Disruptor, and it's about to get its best shot on the army, but the Nova doesn't connect with anything.
Yeah, exactly. RagnaroK is able to get out of there in time. He's going to be bleeding out some of these units, but it looks like RagnaroK has been able to maintain control of his side of the map. He cleans up the counterattack. MaxPax down to 4 bases, doesn't really have a lot of economy remaining. He has 1 base mining. On the right hand side, he barely has any workers left.
Yeah, and that base does not have the static defense it once had, as you know, those run-bys of RagnaroK, they might not have gotten a lot of damage every time, but at least it was dealing with the defense, and it looks like MaxPax was not rebuilding it, so it will be that much easier to get there next time.
Yeah, and here we go. RagnaroK does hit that right-hand base. It looks like MaxPax has to completely give it up. At the same time, another force on the left-hand side. With lurkers, there is detection available for MaxPax.
There is detection. There are disruptors as well, so he has to be careful about these Novas, but RagnaroK dodges them, and it looks fine.
It does look fine at the same time as that counterattack. So MaxPax is going to be losing a base and a lot of his economy, but likewise, so is RagnaroK. We know the Zealots actually turned back around.
Yeah, the Zerglings distract the Zealots, and they're not able to get all these runs. At the same time, there is a lurker just dealing with the probe transfers.
Yeah, exactly. That one lurker doing so much damage. GG gets called. And RagnaroK fights back, taking game number 1. Oh. GG.
GG. Really nice done.
A very scrappy, very back and forth game there. We saw initially for the first half of that game, MaxPax was doing so well deflecting and defending any kind of Lingbane counterattacks, but at a certain point, RagnaroK was finally getting some damage done there. He was finally hurting the economy of MaxPax as well as MaxPax was hurting his. Again, things got very scrappy between the two players. Eventually, though, we saw RagnaroK was able to get into Hive Tech, was able to tech up into Hydras, into Lurkers as well, eventually get into a more refined army, just a better army overall compared to what MaxPax was working with.
Yeah, it just felt like both of the players were doing a lot of damage to each other. Like, I feel like, because for a long time, we had, like, you know, both players defending very well. We had, like, MaxPax with his SimCity, with his Warpins and so on. Like, you know, he was holding the front. And then suddenly he was like, oh, I'm just gonna keep attacking. And then he kind of like forgot to like reinforce his bases. And then RagnaroK started doing a lot of damage. And then both of them were just hurting.
Yeah, again, it's just a very, very scrappy game between these two players. Very chaotic as well. Action all over the place. Very little downtime once things started to pop off. But RagnaroK came out ahead in the end. And now we're going to be getting into game number 2 on a larger map on Ancient Cistern.
So the chat is saying that Lanka is a good unit.
It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
There's no sky toss if there's no like solid economy. It's pretty good.
Yeah, and this player here is also pretty good, as we are now loaded into Ancient Cistern and we are looking at our red Zerg player, representing Mystery Gaming and Korea. It is RagnaroK.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ancient Sister, and we have the Danish Protoss player representing Storm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And once again, 2 games in a row, RagnaroK is going to be going for the 15-15 opener here. 15 hatch into his soon-to-be 15 spawning pool as well. So once again, he's able to actually expand where he wants to.
Yeah, so that will be a nice little economic boost on the beginning of the game. And I'm curious what MaxPax is gonna go for, actually, because I feel like RagnaroK is gonna play a bit more of the same. Maybe, okay, I remember what was really like unfortunate for RagnaroK is when early on he made a lot of links trying to deny the bases of MaxPax, but he didn't get anything. And I wonder if he's also gonna go for that aggression again, or if he's just gonna, go for straight up macro.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, RagnaroK kind of like Dark. He's kind of known for his aggression as well. Like RagnaroK even more so than Dark. RagnaroK's like known for being a little bit more cheesy. As much as I would love for him to be a little bit more safe and be a little bit more defensive at times, I don't know if he will. It's like, we can say what we want.
I thought you were gonna say I don't know if he can. Just can't do it.
Yeah, there's just something within him that's like, I need to attack, I need to go, I need to cut drones and make lings and just go for it. And yeah, it's just kind of who he is as a player. So yeah, I mean, he may find some better opportunities on Ancient Cistern just because of how large this map is. So we do have more angles of attack. So we'll see, as MaxPax bold move is not going for a Stargate opening.
Yeah, we will be having the Twilight Council instead. And what do you think that Twilight Council is for?
It can be of one of 2 things. This can be for a DT opener or for an Adept opener. It depends on the timing of the robo. It depends if you pull out of gases as well to really signify what this is. But the reason why I say it's a bold move is that if it is going to be Glaive Adepts, against a regular natural, it is a little bit harder to pull off because RagnaroK can fully wall off on his natural base and deny any kind of shades.
I'm still gonna say it will be Glaives though. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a really bold move from MaxPax, and there's a lot working against him if he does go for it. But here we go. We have the Overlord trying to go for a scout. RagnaroK is actually going to be banking up some lings back at home.
And it looks like we will be having the Dark Shine after all. So yeah, I guess we will see like if MaxPax is able to get any damage though.
Yeah, so this makes a lot of sense. Again, I was saying earlier that Glaives in this position wouldn't be good because RagnaroK could actually expand at the natural location, which means that he has a lot of creep spread here at the choke point, which means he can wall off and deny any kind of shades coming in. It's so much more difficult to pull off, so I think it's a wise choice to go for the DTs instead. We'll see if he can get any damage done though, because Lings have arrived and they're going to try and power through this Stalker.
They will try, but there is a secondary wall in case they break through it, so there should be no damage done here by RagnaroK, but still taking these early units is always nice.
Yeah, now RagnaroK, upon seeing the lack of third base, he should know it's either Glaives or DTs. He has a Roach Warren on the way. He's cutting drones quite early on as well. Prism moves out, but RagnaroK hasn't confirmed anything. We should be seeing spores, and there we go. We have 2 spores on the way.
Yeah, 2 spores, but that means that one of the bases is left without. Okay, we have 3 spores, so there should be detection. There are queens. The Lynx have found the War Prism. Can we handle this?
Yeah, it looks like with the queens being brought forward, the spore is going to finish up just in time. We are going to be trying to focus down the prism. The prism! Oh god! Oof.
Yeah, it was very close, but it flew away from the creep and is able to be saved. And now RagnaroK has to split his forces correctly to make sure he's not surprised by these few DTs.
Yeah, I like this from RagnaroK. His Lings are actually going across the map. They're going to be denying this third base. There isn't a lot to defend it, so potentially he can get a cancel. We'll see if he gets a surround on those Adepts. So no, the Adepts are very quick to respond.
That they are, but still these Lynx will get quite a lot of damage on the Nexus, so it may have to be cancelled. It's a kill.
That's a kill, not a cancel. 400 minerals go down the drain at the same time. MaxPax, he tries to go in with his DTs. He gets 6 drones, which is nice. Not worth what we just lost across the map, though.
Yeah, he was a bit too distracted with being aggressive, and he did not notice how low that Nexus was getting, and he will pay for it.
He really will. Meanwhile, we have a lair on the way. We have a lot of gases being taken as well from RagnaroK. I'm very curious to see what this is for. It could just be for roaches, and we have an Evo chamber on the way, so it looks like it may just be for +1 and mass roach ravager. But we could try to take up in a different direction, whether it's a spire or even a hydrogen.
Yeah, I'm not feeling Spire in this situation, but it definitely could be. But for now, RagnaroK has to make sure he does not lose too much to these Dark Templars, because they are still lurking about.
Yeah, exactly. We do see 2 drones going down. +1 range has commenced, so it should be a commitment into those roaches. Meanwhile, across the map, MaxPax is finally going to be getting that 3rd base up and running, and there it is. It is the Spire.
Like, these players are really trying to prove me wrong this game. Everything I said is wrong. Literally everything.
Well, again, with all these gases, it should have either been, whether it's a Spire or a Hydrogen, or even an Infestation Pit, like some tech of some kind. I understand what you're saying, though. Because we already have Archons, it can be difficult to deal with mutas, or at least if the Archons are a part of the main army, it can be difficult to deal with mutas, but he should be aware that Blink is delayed. We're not going to have a lot of Blink Stalkers, so there's potential for mutas to do damage.
Yeah, also, I mean, considering how much MaxPax has been focusing on being aggressive, he may just, you know, not pay enough attention to defending his bases, and those mutas can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, bearing in mind as well that we're not going to go mass muta, because we're getting +1 range and roach speed. We're going to have mainly a roach army, and we're only going to make enough mutas to shut down the prism and to one-shot workers. So around 5 to 6 mutas should be what we expect to see.
Yeah, definitely. Would make sense in this situation, and we'll see what RagnaroK can do with it. We do have a force of stalkers that is moving across the map, but again, it is moving across the map, so it is not at home to defend.
Yeah, and there we go. We have our first wave of mutas on the way. We do have a decent roach army to meet that of MaxPax, but he's going to be careful. Blink is now done.
Yeah, Blink is done, but the roaches are as well, and they're moving forward to these stalkers. There's another force of them as well, sneaking out.
Exactly. We do see a Link counterattack is going to be punishing that 4th base at least a little bit, but the Stalkers are going to be breaking on through. They want to try and get a cancel on that hatchery.
And cancel they will get, and also they are fending off these roaches for the time being, so RagnaroK has to amass more army if he wants to defend this Stalker aggression, but now the mutas are ready and they are sneaking out.
Yeah, exactly. So RagnaroK may have been forced to cancel his 4th base, as we have a Prism slipping into the main base as well, but the mutas have a lot of counterattack potential and they have to do damage just because RagnaroK has been contained to these few bases.
Yeah, he's trying to expand on the south, but there is a force of MaxPax over there, so that will be denied as well. The mutas are on the way though. There is a spotter building there in the main base, but can MaxPax react in time?
Yeah, we will see. The Zealots are going to be cleaned up. We do have the Stalker army going to be threatening all of these Roach Ravagers, but here we go. The mutas, they do dive into the main base, and there is nothing here to defend.
There is no static defense, no warpings. Even these warp gates are in danger, as I think some of them may be on a single pylon.
Yeah, exactly. The Stalkers are going to be going down as well. Max actually is not looking. He's focusing on his defense back at home instead. 15 probes go down, basically an entire mineral line, and the mutas, they are not done. They are rotating over towards the 3rd base as well.
And the 3rd base does have static defense, so they won't be able to get much there, but as these mutas are flying around, the roaches are on the front and they are starting to deal damage.
Yeah, exactly. The 4th base is under threat. The cannon, the shield battery go down. There's nothing left to support the units here, and it looks like the Nexus is going to be forfeit.
Yeah, Nexus was forfeited. The Stalkers were being finished off. The Archons are trying their best, but now with the mutas, the warpies will be denied.
Yeah, the Prism is going to be going down. We can no longer juggle anything. We even snipe one of those Archons as well. RagnaroK, he takes down the 4th, and he can keep on pushing from here. He is almost remaxed as well with Lings, with Roaches, even with mutas, and MaxPax has almost nothing left.
Yeah, he still has a lot of Stalkers in his base. He has the overcharge, so RagnaroK has to be careful to not throw his units away too carelessly, but he does have overwhelming army, and with another wave of reinforcements, he should be able to take it.
Yeah, exactly. MaxPax is stuck on a 2-base economy as we speak. He was able to hold on to his third, but that was only because of an overcharge. That was only because of the shield battery, and now it has run out. RagnaroK, he can lay siege upon this if he really wants to, but he just got his Overseer sniped. He's making 3 more Overseers because MaxPax does warp in defensive DTs.
Yeah, also an important note is that the Mutas did snipe that pylon, so also the production of MaxPax was slowed down because a few of these gateways were unpowered for quite a while. Yeah, so that's even harder to defend.
Exactly. Meanwhile, RagnaroK, he backs off. He works on Overlord speed because, again, we did just see MaxPax snipe the Overseers, so he knows that his only way to survive these pushes is to get rid of the detection and go into DTs. But RagnaroK is aware of that, and he is preparing for that as well. Mutas are being hunted down, but we don't really care about the Mutas. Not anymore. It's all about the ground army.
Yeah, the Mutas already did their job. They got a lot of damage. They killed the entire mineral line in the main base. They caught the pylon as well. And now we have another wave of the Link Ravager. Roach Ravager.
Yeah, exactly. We're pushing on forward. I believe we have enough time for another overcharge. There we go. The overcharge has been popped, but the Immortal is under threat. Biles will take down the shield battery as it does barely survive, but the Immortal goes down, and with the reinforcements, RagnaroK should be able to break the defenses here at the third.
Yeah, RagnaroK is just moving in. The probes are dying, and RagnaroK is taking MaxPax down with the 2-0 score.
GG, well played. RagnaroK is one of the best Zerg players in South Korea, a much more aggressive Zerg player as well, and a cheeky Zerg, and we saw that actually come into play in this series. We saw him with the mass Ling harassment, Ling Bane harassment in Game 1 with mixed success. Again, it was very close, Game 1. Here in Game 2, though, he was cheeky, he rushed into a Spire, and the Mutas really did solidify himself and did win him that game.
Yeah, really nicely played there from RagnaroK. And how do I put it? Like, I was surprised how much MaxPax was being pulled apart. It looked like there were quite a few moments where his attention was just split, and he just didn't have enough of it to defend as he was attacking.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, there were like 3 or 4 things happening at once. It was MaxPax was going for the Archon drop into the main base. At the same time, we had the Muta counterattack in his main base. At the same time, there was a Stalker fight happening towards the south at the 4th base of RagnaroK, and at the same time, I think we also had another Link counterattack at the 3rd base of MaxPax. So there was a lot happening at once. So I'm pretty sure at the time he was looking at the drop in the main of RagnaroK. It was focusing on his own harassment. He just, a bit of a lapse in judgment. Didn't see those Mutas in time, and he was punished really hard for it. And that's how StarCraft can work sometimes. If you aren't looking at the right place at the right time for a little bit too long, for a couple of seconds, then suddenly, bam, everything dies.
Yeah. That's how it arose in StarCraft. A lot of attention needed to it. I mean, it depends a lot on the opponent you have. Like some of these opponents are really good at multitasking, really good at splitting their armies into multiple locations, and it makes it really taxing on any player, no matter how good they are.
Oh yeah, exactly. Can be very taxing, and now we have ourselves a new series. We have ourselves the grand finals. My condolences to both Showtime and MaxPax, the 2 top European Protoss players. They were not able to make it any further. They were stopped in the semis, and they will have a PvP to play amongst themselves for the 3rd place match. They're going to be heading over to the land of Europe for that, but we have ourselves the grand finals. It's going to be a ZvZ between Dark and RagnaroK.
Ooh. A ZvZ! Finally I joined for a ZvZ.
It's happening.